Hello, my sweet friend. I am Cristina Arevalo, cake business, productivity coach, and podcaster. I help cake makers like you manage your business productively and with ease, taking control of your time and workflow to avoid stress and burnt out. I offer personalized strategies and supportive community to help you stay organized, productive, and in charge of your success. Your cake business should bring you joy, not stress. I'm here to help you build an efficient, successful, and sustainable business without feeling overwhelmed and burned out. With the right planning, strategies, and mindset, you can reach your goals, stay organized, and enjoy the journey. Let's make your cake business work for you, not the other way around. Hi there. If you like this podcast and enjoy this episode, there's only one thing I ask from you. Please follow this podcast, download this episode, and leave me a started review in any of your favorite podcast platforms where you're listening to this show now. This way, the algorithm will show the podcast to more cake artists who will benefit from, and you'll be helping me grow this show. And don't forget to share it on social media and tag me, and I'll gladly follow you back. I would love to hear what you have to say. Leave me a comment on Spotify or answer any of the questions and polls on the episode. Let me invite you to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as The Art Cake Coach, or follow the links on the show notes to find out more ways to stay connected. Visit www.theartcakecoach.com for more. Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Cristina here, and this is our first episode of 2026. Yeah, we made it through another year here on the Art Cake Coach podcast. And to celebrate, because why not? This first week of the year is going to be special here on the Art Cake Coach podcast because I'm going to be releasing 3 episodes this week, and I'm going to explain why. Right now, in the Art Cake Coach community on Facebook, we're holding the goal setting challenge called Sweet Success 2026. And I'm sharing with you tips on how to turn your wishes into goals, how to set those goals in a way they are achievable in an easy and not in an overwhelming way, and to make them actually come true and make them a reality this year, 2026. So this challenge is divided in 3 days. Day 1 was yesterday, Monday, January 5th. Today is the second day, that is Tuesday, January 6th. And tomorrow is the last day, Wednesday, January 7th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the 3 days with you, or just a resume of what we do in each of the days of the goal setting challenge, Sweet Success, here on the podcast. So this week, only this week, I'm going to be releasing 3 episodes in a row. So expect today's episode, an episode tomorrow, and an episode on Thursday. Yes, I'm going to be doing that for you this first week of January 2026. So my recommendation, get comfortable, grab pen and paper, and let's start setting achievable goals for 2026. The new issue of Delicious Magazine is out. Delicious Magazine, a must-have international cake, cookie, and sugared art magazine, both digital and print. This monthly magazine is filled with interviews, tutorials, competitions, and giveaways, business information, cake collaborations, the latest trends, and information on your favorite sugar art decorating products. Delicious Magazine also features your cakes every month in our Let's Get Social feature. Go to the link in the description of this episode to purchase your monthly copy, or you can save up to 45% when you sign up for an annual subscription. Pay once and get a whole year of magazines sent to you directly on your email. You can also pay monthly and save 20% of every issue. There are no tie-ins or contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Thank you, Delicious Magazine and Kelly, for sponsoring today's episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. So, yesterday, Monday, January 5th, was the first day of the Sweet Success 2026 Goal Setting Challenge for the Art Cake Coach community on Facebook. This year, I wanted to dedicate a little bit more time to the Art Cake Coach community since Cake Friends Stay Creative takes a lot of my time and a lot of my I'm not my time, but I do dedicate a lot to Cake Friends Stay Creative. But this year, I said I think it's time to start growing um, our coaching community on Facebook. If you're not part of our Art Cake Coach community on Facebook, the links will be available for you in the description of the episode so you can join anytime. And of course, all the classes will be recorded in the group for 30 days because that's the new Facebook settings, only for 30 days. But I will be downloading the classes so you can have them available on my webpage later this year. Okay, so let's start with what we talk on the first day of the goal setting challenge called Sweet Success 2026. So, day one, that was yesterday, was about turning your wishes into goals, some tips, some key tips to achieve those goals. And we talked about gratitude and mindset. If you have ever listened to other episodes here on the podcast about goal setting, you know that I love to combine, but there is a reason why. I love to talk about gratitude and mindset when we're talking about goal setting because it is a game changer. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So let's start with the first part of what we talked about yesterday on the first day of the challenge. First of all, when we start the year, we usually have all these wishes. Depending on different countries, you have different traditions on how to make those wishes come true. Here in Portugal, you have to eat 12 raisins before midnight. Other countries is grapes, other countries is other food. There's people who dress in a certain color for luck or for money or for prosperity. In Venezuela, I remember grabbing some bags and getting out of the house because that means you were going to travel that year. I mean, you name it. There are many traditions, and it's fun. We all have wishes. We all wish to have more money, to be skinnier, to be healthier, to travel more. But they usually end up after midnight because they're just wishes. They're not something that you're set out to do. If you ask anybody who actually made those things happen, there's usually the factor of commitment. There's usually the factor of, oh, I made a plan and I made it happen. That's why, or that's how you turn wishes into goals. This is the first thing that we talked about yesterday. Because what usually happens is you start the year with your planner, with your agenda, with your notebook, you write down all your goals. And if you're lucky, by the 1st of February, you forgot that notebook exists. And it never happens, right? And then you start giving yourself excuses like, life happens. I don't have time for this. It wasn't as relevant as I thought. It's not for me, not this year. Well, maybe if I don't plan, I don't get disappointed. I have heard this so many times. If I don't set my mind into something and that something doesn't happen, I won't be disappointed at the end of the year. So why even try it? Well, you know me, that's not my default. That's not how I think. That's not how I believe to live my life. But as I mentioned yesterday, I understand there are many people out there that are okay with that. They're happy living their life like that. And part of me kind of envy them because I cannot leave things to chance. That is not my default. That is not how I do it. So, since I need some sense of control and since I need some sense of purpose, otherwise, I feel that life is lived, but I don't live it. That life just happens and I'm not part of it. And of course, we're talking about our cake businesses. So if we translate this to our cake businesses, to our products, to our companies, to our businesses, um, it feels like It's just another year of trying to make it happen, of worries, of wonder why I keep doing what I'm doing, not taking any decisions. And honestly, for me, that is not the way that I do it. However, if you're one of those lucky people who just happens to be fine with not planning anything and not organizing anything, that's so good. Congratulations. So you can just pause me right now and go grab a cup of coffee or something. But if you want to take some control and some um control over the result of the year, if you want to put your hands in the steering wheel of your cake business, you're welcome to do what we're going to do today. So, the first thing that we did yesterday was trying to figure out what those wishes were. How do we do it? And this is where the homework starts. I want you to take a piece of paper or a notebook or anything. Don't complicate it. It doesn't have to be an app, it doesn't have to be a specific planner. Just take a piece of paper. And I want you to make a list where you're going to dump. This is called the dump list. You're going to dump all of the things that are in your head that you wish to have or to do with your cake business. We're keeping this business related. We're not talking about your life, your health. I did an episode. I don't know if it was last year or the year before where I one episode, no, I think it was a series of 4 episodes where we talk more in depth of a holistic view of the goal setting, where we add not only our job or our business, but we also work our health, family, relationships. I do it that way, but let's keep it simple. I think if 2026 had a theme, it will be keep it simple. Actually, that's my motto this year. Keep it simple. Uh, I feel people is going back to the roots, is going back to basics, is going back to simple. So let's keep it simple as well here on the Art K Coach podcast on this first week of January. So gonna make your dump list. There you're going to write everything that comes to your head that you wish to have, you wish to be for your cake business, you wish to have on your cake business, that you wish your cake business to achieve this year. Just wishes. Just dump them. Don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just write it down until you run out of ideas. Just make a big dump list. Dump everything that is in your head. When you finish that list, I want you to go back and check it out. And from that list, I want you to choose 3 goals. But you will ask me, Christina, how do I choose? If I just dumped like 20 things on a list, that doesn't make any sense. How I'm going to find out what are the 3 goals that I need to work on? Well, ask yourself the next questions. What or which of those things on your list make more sense for your cake business and for your reason, your why, the reason you are in this cake industry, the reason you do have a cake business? There must be a reason. We all have a reason. Make more money because we love it, because we are stubborn and we want to make it happen, because an extra income, because I want to be famous in the cake world, whatever it is your reason. Which of those goals or those wishes that you wrote on the list make sense for that why? Make sense for that reason? Then you're going to ask yourself, which of those goals or those wishes actually moves your business forward to the result that you really want? We always want a result. We always want, like, when we finish the year, we say, "Oh, I hope next year is what? Is better. I make more money. I'll have more clients. I'll learn more." Okay. There's always something that we look forward in our cake business. You're going to look into the list that you just made, and you're going to ask yourself which of those wishes actually move your cake business forward to that result that you want. And then you're going to ask yourself which one of those wishes are you actually capable of doing? Actually, like, honestly. For example, I could say, Okay, I want my um I wish I had a bakery. Like like big bakery, you know, big location, employees. Right now, where I'm standing, Christina, right here, talking to you. Am I actually capable of doing that in 1 year? I could, but there's so much involved in it. I don't have the money. I need to ask for a loan. I need to educate myself on business in order to get that. I need to do interviews to interview people for the jobs. I need to do a market study. I need so many things. It's like, okay, am I capable of doing that right now? Probably not. But maybe if the why is too strong, if this is the moment that you say, this is the year that I'm going to create my bakery, well, then the why is strong, then that is your goal. Okay. So ask yourself those three questions. Which of those wishes makes more sense to your why for your cake business? Move your business forwards and you are actually capable of doing. Okay. So that's going to narrow down your list. If it's more than three, keep asking the same questions until you get to three. Yes, three, no more. Not two, not five. Three. There's magic in three. So, three. I want you to think of three. Now, from those three wishes that you're going to turn into goals, how do we turn them into goals? You're actually set one next step to start working towards the result that you want. Yesterday, I gave a very simple example because it's usually the struggle that everybody in the cake business talks about, which is money, pricing, and making more money. So let's say that I want my business to be profitable this year or even more profitable. I want to make more money, right? It makes sense to my why because I'm working because I do want to make more money and I do want an extra income if you have another business. It moves my business forward because money is blood for any business. If my business is making money, if my business is making profit, that means sorry, my business is alive and is going to keep being alive for a long run. Perfect. Am I capable of doing? Yes, I can do that. I can raise my prices. I can educate myself on pricing. I can actually do the work in order to make that happen. So, what is the next step that I have to do in order to make it happen? Well, what is the first thing that I'm lacking in order to raise my prices? Maybe, let's say, I need a good, I don't know, template or app that will keep track of my expenses so I actually know where I'm bleeding out money. Simple. That is the next step that you're going to do tomorrow in order to make that wish turn into a goal. Okay. So, do this part of the homework. Pause me right now. Write down your dump list. Ask yourself the questions and think about the next step that you're going to take for each one of the goals to make them come. Each one of the wishes to actually make them become goals. And then in the next part, I'm going to share with you some key takeaways that you need to consider. Like, it's not an option. You need to consider in order to achieve your goals this 2026. Now, you did your homework, you wrote everything down. Now, what is keeping you from making those goals become a reality? They're very simple things that you should implement in your goal setting, in your everyday next steps, in your planning. They're actually going to make you move closer to success by the end of the year. Number one, keep it simple. This is what I've been telling you guys. That is that is my biggest takeaway from 2025. Keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible. Simple means that you're going to keep doing it. Simple means that it's going to be easy and it can be transformed into habit. Simple means that it's not going to overcomplicate your life and you're not going to run away from it. So keep it simple, one step at a time. That's why I want you to break your goals into little steps and the next step, the next thing to achieve it, the next thing to achieve it. Not focus on the big thing down the road, right? When we take a trip, we know our destination, but we're not focusing on the destination. We're focusing on the road when we're driving. Otherwise, we're going to crash our cars, right? So, this is what we're going to do with our goals. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. Don't overthink. Don't overplan. Keep it simple. Make it a habit. And this is where the keep it simple falls into. You want to be consistent. And in order to be consistent, those little steps that you're going to make have to become habits, have to become little things that you do every single day or that you do one after the other. So you keep moving forward. Okay. We cannot wish to have a specific goal and just work on it once or twice a month and expect results. I've been giving before here the examples of a diet. If you want to lose the weight and you don't change what you're eating and you don't exercise daily, you're not going to see results. And if you see results, maybe you say little results. So, this is what we're doing with our goals. We're creating habits of those little steps that we're going to take in order to achieve them. And that is that is what is going to keep us consistent. Again, together with that, break them into small steps. I already mentioned it. Don't focus on the big thing, focus on the step next, right in front of you. And very important, measure progress. Don't leave finding out if it works or not for the end of the year. If you do that, you're going to have wasted a lot of time. So, you don't have to do it weekly, but maybe monthly, every 3 months. Go back, check on your goals, see how everything is doing, see if it's actually moving forward, see if you need to change something, pivot, adjust, change the way you're approaching the solution of your goal, but keep it measured. Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to know if you're actually moving forward. And another key thing that I learned last year, maybe by the first, second, third month, maybe by the middle of the year, you realize I've been working on it. I've been disciplined. I created the habit. I've been doing the little step, but this goal doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense for me as a person. It doesn't make sense for my business. Sometimes opportunities comes, life happen, business changes, and it doesn't make sense anymore. So why am I keep wasting my time on this? Just because I committed on something that is actually not giving me any results. So you change. Either change the approach or change the goal. So it's very important to measure your progress. Now, in the next part, we're going to be talking about something that I love to talk about when we talk about goal setting, which is gratitude and your mindset. Yeah, I know the word mindset is like too much. Everybody talks about mindset and it's kind of cringy by now, but it's actually how you set your mind to think about the goals in front of you that is going to make the difference. So let's talk about gratitude and mindset. When we start thinking about our goals, when we start our endeavor, the thing that is in front of us to do, with a feeling of I have I have a lot. I'm grateful for what I have. I appreciate everything that life has given me so far. I appreciate my efforts. I appreciate what I have learned. But now I want to add more to that wealth, to that beautiful life that I have. It's so different than I don't have it and I want it. So when you set a wish, when you set a goal from a point of gratitude, you're halfway there because your mind is set towards positive, towards success. So how are we going to do it? And I do talk a lot about mindset and gratitude in other episodes here on the podcast that you can go and check out, especially from the first season here on the RK Coach podcast. I can leave some of the links here on the description of the episode. So, for each goal that you wrote, remember you did all your list, you choose your goals and your next steps. For each goal, I want you to write something that you're grateful for. For example, let's say the goal was making more money. You want to be more profitable this year. You want your business to be more profitable. What is something that you're grateful for about that goal? Well, I'm grateful that I realized that by putting the effort and by the knowledge that I have accumulated, I now understand that this has to be done. And I'm grateful to all the information and all of the um, knowledge that I have in order to make it happen. So I want you to relate a gratitude thought to a very specific goal, to your specific goal. Then I want you to think of your limiting beliefs. Usually, when we start something, there's doubt. There is that, I don't know, but will I be able? If I raise my prices, my clients will go. Catch that limiting belief and change it. If your limiting belief is, oh, if I raise my prices, I will lose clients, change it immediately to, when I raise my prices, my right client will show. The right client that is going to pay that is gonna show. And if my previous clients won't be able to pay it, they will move on to another cake decorator who will actually have prices for them. But it's not going to be me because I'm going to do something different now. See? You want to change that mind, that the limiting belief, and set your mind to focus on what is right in front of you. We get overwhelmed and we get stressed because we start adding things to our head, like, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't work? And then I have to do this, and then I have to do another thing, and then next week I have to do another thing, and then by the end of the month I have to do. No, focus on the step in front of you. The first step is to find that app or that tracker or that PDF or that template, that spreadsheet that is going to help you um, set your prices correctly and see where you're losing money. That is what you're going to focus on. That's it. Don't think about what's coming next. Do that first. Learn to use it. Use it. Okay. And then, okay, then I did that. I know what's happening with my finances. I know what's happening with my prices. This is what has to be done. Another thing, another beautiful thing that happens is when we focus on the little steps, and we really get to know those little steps, we get to know what's going on in each of the steps, we get knowledge, and by knowledge we get confidence. When we are, for example, with the prices, the more you learn and the more you understand, and it's not just a random, let me just raise my prices double, why not, you don't feel the confidence because you don't have the knowledge of why you're taking that decision. So those little steps are going to solidify that confidence that is going to make you achieve that goal. What I want you to do for today, and this is what I ask all of the members of the group to do on the first day of this goal setting challenge, is I want you to write down what will be your next steps, and I want you to write down what are you grateful for. And in the link that I left you for the group, for the Art K Coach community on Facebook, enter that link, request to join. And if you're part of it, go to the link of the first day, and I want you to share that with us. Please share it with us because get out of your comfort zone. Let's just start creating that sense of community. And I really want to know what is going on with you? What are your next steps? How can I help you in order to tailor everything that we're going to be doing on the group to your needs? So, my sweet friends, this is it for today's, the first episode of 2026. But remember, there's another one coming tomorrow and another one coming the day after. One for each of the days of the goal setting challenge, Sweet Success. Do your homework, pause me, write it down, keep it simple. Focus on the next step. And I will see you tomorrow for the second episode of the series. Meanwhile, stay safe and stay creative, my friends. And don't forget to share your next steps and your gratitude list. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Hey, cake friend, before you go, If you've been enjoying these episodes and you are ready to take your cake business to the next level, I would love to invite you to join the Art Cake Coach Podcast Club on Spotify. Inside, you'll get access to over 17 exclusive audio classes and time management, goal setting, money mindset, and more. Everything you need to feel organized, confident, and balanced in your cake journey. And you will get one more extra class each month. You can unlock it right here on Spotify. Just tap on the link in the description of this episode.